Okay, so I've received an influx of emails requesting assistance with frivolous filings. Okay, a crash course on frivolous filings. The IRS is giving you money. In a short explanation, the value of the frivolous filing is positive. Anytime you have an asset of $5,000, that asset is immediately offset by a negative number of the same value. This is standard accounting, okay? That is something you have to take time to understand. Anytime that an asset is created, a corresponding liability comes into existence at the very same time. Okay, so if you received a $5,000 frivolous filing, that's the asset side of the ledger, but there is a liability side. The entity that created the charge is technically holding both sides. That would be the IRS, okay? And so the game is, do you know that you can adjust this? Do you know these things that you can withdraw it? Okay, so that's the game. All right, so you got a frivolous filing for $5,000, okay? The IRS has a service called Request for Taxpayer Advocate Service Assistance, okay? And the reason that you would want to use this service is because you do not speak IRC code, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. You are not fluent in Internal Revenue Code, which is a language that is only understood it's not even understood to most IRS agents. If you guys have been interacting with the IRS, you sort of know that there is no uniformity, there is no consensus in the understanding of the IRC. I think it was created that way intentionally, sort of like to cause confusion. For example, if you're opening an estate and you're reporting the death of a person, the agent will believe that you're talking about a natural person, when in the IRC, a person is defined as a corporation, a company, a LLC, a trust, an estate. Okay, those are how the IRC defines a person. So if you don't know that and the IRS contacts you and say, hey, we need letters testamentary, okay, there is confusion about the identity of the person that you're creating an estate for. Okay, so it's very important to get dictionaries to define certain words, because if you don't understand a word, translation will not happen, and then you're going to panic, and then you think you're going to be able to get in touch with me, and I don't operate that way. I'm sorry. So I'm giving you guys the tools that you need to handle your own affairs, okay? So request for Taxpayer Advocate Service assistance. You got a frivolous filing. I don't understand why this is happening, okay? I need help. All right. So the name of the taxpayer as shown on the tax return. You know what? I want to update this. All right. So the name of the taxpayer is going to be Doe Jane Mary. Okay, look at your driver's license, look at your passport. Okay, those two entities are the primary accounts that holds the majority of your assets. Anytime a name is written Doe, Jane, Mary, if it's written backwards that way, how I have trained myself to understand it is that we are now dealing with a decedent. Okay, so if the IRS is able to create charges, it's because we're dealing with the decedent account. Okay, that account needs to be adjusted, and those charges need to come out of that account, because we don't want the IRS monetizing these frivolous filings, because people don't understand, basic accounting. They don't know that they have the ability to adjust the account minus $5,000 to bring the account to zero, and then the individual that was accused of the frivolous filing now has $5,000 extra in their pocket. Okay, so I use the Doe Jane Mary is the name of a decedent. Okay, the credits that the IRS is using came from the entity Jane Mary Doe. That's the Social Security card. So understand the differences, okay? When you look at your Social Security card, the name is written first, middle, last. That's the asset. That's where it came from, okay? Now, once the charges make it to the account that the IRS is holding, that account is a decedent, and that decedent is identified last name, first name, and your middle name is at the end, okay? Taxpayer identifying number, enter your social, enter your address. Don't do nothing funny. Don't add non-domestic without the United States. All of that, none of that is necessary. City, state, zip. If you have a fax number, enter a fax number so you can get a response quicker, okay? Email address, enter an email if you feel comfortable doing so. If you don't, you don't have to, okay? Person to contact, if no authorized third party, you can put in a spouse, friend, or someone you trust. For me, since Christina Wilson Private Bank ENT, that's who I would use. That's who I would use in the person to contact if no authorized third party. You can enter your private bank, or you can just, hey, my husband or my wife or my roommate, someone that you trust, someone who lives with you. And the reason for that is just because you guys are still in the early phases of understanding these different corporate identities, okay? It's still confusing to you. You don't really get how these different identities work, or at what time am I which identity, okay? So to eliminate that confusion, you don't want the person to contact to be the same as the taxpayer, okay? So if you want to use your private bank, use that entity. If you want to use a friend or husband or mom or dad, use them as a person to contact, okay, until you get a better grasp on things. Daytime phone number, best time to call. Check here if you consent to have confidential information about your tax issues left on your answering machine or voice message. So if they call you and you miss it, or if you're like me, I don't answer calls. If you're not saved in my log, I'm not answering that. You're not wasting my time. I don't waste my time. So if you're like me, you don't answer calls. You don't, excuse me, guys, numbers you can't identify. Then if they decide to leave a message, then they will leave details of that message on your voicemail. If you do not want them to do that, uncheck box 7B, okay? Preferred language, okay? I said that an interpreter is needed. Specify the language other than English, including sign language. Here I have IRC. IRC is an acronym for Internal Revenue Code. Okay, I don't understand that language. I need someone who does understand the language, okay, to assist me, because I don't get what's going on here. All right. Tax form numbers. You want to enter which tax form caused the frivolous filing. Okay. Enter that tax number here. Tax years or period. Did you file it for 2023? Was it a 2022 1041? Was it a 2022 1040? Which tax year? Okay. Describe the tax issue you are experiencing and any difficulties it may be creating. It's simple. A frivolous filing penalty of $5,000. I'm not about to cry to you and, oh, I'm having this hardship and this burden. I'm not about to do that. They send me a frivolous filing penalty for $5,000. Describe the relief or assistance you are requesting. The taxpayer requires assistance in adjusting taxpayer account negative $5,000 and the credit to be released to the taxpayer or the taxpayer's representative. It's that simple. The only thing I need you to do is to help me adjust this account. Okay? I need an adjustment made to these charges. That's it. I understand that Taxpayer Advocate Service employees may contact third parties in order to respond to this request, and I authorize such contacts to be made. Further, by authorizing the Taxpayer Advocate Service to contact third parties, I understand that I will not receive notice pursuant to whatever their section in the Internal Revenue Code of third parties contacted in connection with this request. Okay, whatever you got to do to handle my stuff. Okay. Signature of taxpayer or corporate officer and title, if applicable, you go ahead and sign here. I always sign, like when I'm dealing with the IRS, the title that I use most often is receiver, period. Receiver. A receiver is an entity in bankruptcy that is assigned to receive or manage certain assets. Okay. So anytime that I'm dealing with the IRS, I'm always in receivership because we're dealing in bankruptcy, bankrupt entities. Okay. Doe Jane Mary is a bankrupt entity, and I am a receiver for that entity. I'm here. I showed up. I'm here to receive that $5,000. Okay. So I use the title receiver. If you believe that a different title works better for you, you go for it. But that's the title that I use. Okay. Sign your name regularly. Nothing special. All right. The date you signed it. Third party information. You see how name of authorized third party. Okay. So here, if you authorize a third party here, you don't need a person to contact, okay? Because it says person to contact if no authorized third party, all right? But if you do enter an authorized party here, you don't need to enter a person to contact for number 6, okay? Very plain. Mailing address. Check if a cell phone. If it's a cell phone, let them know that it's a cell phone. If you have a fax number, give them the fax number, okay? The third party, signature of third party. Let's see, signature of corporate office here with this request. Signature of third party. Here, you know what I would want to do? Let me see. Does it? Oh, that's a translation. I didn't mean to do that. For here, section third party information, attach form 2848, form 8821, if not on file with the IRS. Okay, I understand that. Signature, okay, and sign. Okay, so here I would type the name. I would type the name of the taxpayer. I would type the signature. Okay. A signature can be a type name. A signature doesn't necessarily have to be a name that you sign with an ink pen. So you can enter the signature would be just plainly like enter a text box here and just plainly type in the name of the taxpayer. Okay. Now here for the representative, the third party you want to sign. Do you understand where I'm going? Okay, because we're dealing in persons. All right. Personage is another thing that some of you guys kind of like you struggle with. Okay. You can't be two people at the same time. You would look like you're having like what was that movie? Have you ever seen the movie Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey, and like he has this split personality, and at any moment this other personality kind of like jumps out of him? You don't want to find yourself standing in front of, like, even talking to someone on the phone, maybe standing before them, and you're acting in two different capacities. You don't want to put yourself in that position. Okay, so your corporate person we know is fictional. Okay. The corporate person we know is fictitious. We get that. All right. So the corporate person, you can just type the signature. But for the authorized representative, okay, even though the names may look similar or whatever the case may be, you want to sign for that entity, but not for the corporate entity. I hope that makes sense. So if it does not make sense for the time being, hopefully y'all are going out here and you're looking at these words, okay, person, you're looking at decedent, deceased, death, okay, you're looking at the definition of these words and you're using them in different ways. I really do hope you guys are doing the work because it's important. It's important in terms of your translation, in terms of your understanding of what you're saying. And what I'm starting to like realize is some of you guys, you don't understand it. And that's how you end up coming back to me and you're like, well, what do I do now? Okay, this was a poor tactic. This is a very poor tactic on your part to do something and then not have a follow-up strategy. Okay, if this does not work the way that I intended it to, what am I going to do next? Okay, am I going to run back to Christina and ask her for another document? Am I going to keep going about it this way? Or do I need to sit down, understand these words, okay, that's being said so that I can understand, I can translate in my mind? Does that sort of make a little better sense? Okay, so all right. So initiate employees' information. This is not for you, but what they're saying here, you need to read. You need to read these boxes, okay? Because there is a box, and I have been saying this. I have said that some of these corporations, the IRS, your bank, okay? These systems are automated, okay, meaning that an algorithm is deciding things on behalf of your account. So is there the officer, the CFO, are these individuals actually making the decisions behind your accounts? In a lot of cases, no, it's the algorithm, it's the machines that are making these decisions. But if a machine is making a wrong decision, that algorithm needs to be corrected. It needs to be fixed. It's corrupted. Okay. And so there was one here. Let me see. Taxpayer facing has experienced a delay of more than 30 days to resolve a tax problem. Number 5, the taxpayer did not receive a response or resolution to their problem or inquiry by the date promised. Number 6 is one, but this is not for you. This is for the IRS. So like you want to look at this because if the IRS employee reaches out to you and they're going to want more information, okay, you say as less as possible. The information that I reported is correct. They can see what you put on there, okay? The information that I put was correct. There is something wrong with your algorithm. Okay, and it is costing me, it is causing my returns to not be processed appropriately. The algorithm is set by you. It's a personal taxpayer account. Administered, impaired. Okay. All right. So, yeah, sorry, I got distracted. I want you guys to read this portion. All right. So number 8 asks the employee, well, what actions did you take to help resolve? This is for the IRS agents. Okay. They have to go in and maybe do some sort of override or higher level review, whatever they have to do. They're going to list that here, that this is what we had to do, or this is what we did for the taxpayer. Okay. We want an adjustment to this account. There is nothing frivolous about what transactions you decide to initiate on your personal account. Okay, this is sort of like the explanation I gave you with the banks. That the bank, there is a difference between the bank's operations, their business operations, and your personal account. Okay, so the bank is overstepping its boundary. It should be a fiduciary everyone at the bank is a client to the bank. But they don't treat you as a client, especially if you do something that they think is you shouldn't be doing that. But that's not the bank's place to tell you what. They're not an enforcement. Who the fuck are you? You are not an enforcer. Who are you to enforce these rules upon my account? But in order for you to say that, you would have to understand your service agreement. The service agreement is unilateral. You need to know what that means. It means that only your signature is on it. So some of these banks and these institutions are taking people into court saying, oh, they violated the terms of service. Well, the terms of service is unilateral. The only person that can enforce it is me. So who the fuck are you? You understand what they're doing? It's a type of identity theft, but you have to know that. The only person that can enforce this service agreement is me. Who are you? I'm not a part of your organization. I was not present when your organization was incorporated. I'm not a part of your articles of incorporation. Why are you talking to me? And why is my account not doing what I said it should be doing? So getting you guys to understand the nature of your accounts, that business and personal don't mix. It doesn't. Okay, so understanding those things, contracts, okay, certain terms and words, basic accounting, that if I deposit, like let's say if I gave you $500, I say, hey, go put that in your account. The moment you put that $500, sorry guys, I got a little orchestra. The moment you put that $500 into your account, the bank knows that it now carries a liability of negative $500. At some point you're going to do, this money is going to be withdrawn. Okay, so technically you might think you have a $500 balance, but in reality it's zero, because you're going to spend that $500 at some point or transfer it or whatever. But the bank has a liability. You cannot separate assets and liabilities. They are together. So if someone is telling you that, hey, I have a promissory note and it's my promissory note and I have the right to enforce it, okay, you have the rights. You also carry the liabilities. You have the rights, the responsibilities, all of that. All of that. You also carry the liability. The liabilities. You can't just be out here saying, I got assets, and you don't have any it's fraud immediately. I don't know if you guys watch the TV show like American Greed. I love that show because it teaches you a lot about fraudulent accounting, what these people are doing. They're reporting assets and then hiding the liability. They say, well, we don't have no liabilities. And so when investors and people decide to come to their company, they're showing them financial statements absent of liability. So you think, oh, there's no risk for me. This is fraud. This is getting people to sign up with your false advertising, getting people to invest into your company based off manipulated financial statements, saying that you only got assets and no liabilities. It don't work like that. Okay? So a lot of your problems will begin to become resolved when you understand a few basic things. You don't have to have a lot of knowledge about it, but you do have to have some foundational understanding of it. Okay? I had an individual reached out to me. He did the borrow from yourself. He said in the borrow from yourself, he requested $6 million. The IRS slapped him with a $52 million frivolous filing. Now, I appreciate the person because they said that, well, I kind of added a document too. I added IRS form 709. Okay. Yeah, I don't, that's not included in the borrow from yourself ebook. So you went and did something totally, you've done something different from what the book suggests, and now you're in a situation and I have to drop what I'm doing to kind of run to your rescue. That's a bit unfair. You made that decision to do your 709. Okay, I suggest that you listen to me, get a better understanding. You might can get 52 million in your pocket if you understand what I'm saying. Okay? So some individuals are honest, and I do appreciate their honesty and what they're being honest and saying, "Hey, I did add this into it that I heard from somewhere else, and I warn you guys against that. I warn you." Okay? Some of you are not going to be able to let go of previous things that you've learned already. And I get that, and you're free. You're free to believe and practice and do whatever you want. You're free to do that. I advise against it. So that individual decided to mix my advice with advice he received from somewhere else, and now he has a $52 million frivolous filing. But if he can understand what I'm saying, he could get 52 million in his pocket. Okay? Now, I'm not going to read all of this. Y'all are not babies, okay? You can read for yourself. However, I wanted to read, there is a section. Okay. This is the paragraph I want to read to you, but I want you to take your time and read this form in its entirety, okay? 911 filing requirements. The Taxpayer Advocate Service, or TAS, is an independent organization within the Internal Revenue Service, helping taxpayers and protects taxpayers' rights. We can offer you help if your tax problem is causing a financial difficulty, you've tried and been unable to resolve your issue with the IRS, or you believe an IRS system, process, or procedure just isn't working as it should. That is what I've been saying. That is exactly what I have been saying. And some of these forms have done nothing but reinforce my belief in what I'm saying. It reinforces my belief in what I'm saying. These systems are not working as it should. Everybody who is a taxpayer may have a totally different process by which they file taxes, but it does not matter. They should all be accepted. It should be accepted. The system is not working as it should. And the way it's supposed to work is to my benefit. And it's not working to my benefit. If you qualify for our assistance, which is always free, we will do everything possible to help you. That paragraph, right? Yes. No, this is not working the way it should. I reported information to you on the 1099 OI. We know it works. I got millionaires running around. It absolutely works. Why it's working for some and not for others is the problem. But I can't go for thousands of people and tell the IRS, hey, why this ain't working for, it should work for everybody. You have to do that. You must do that. If you're going to get any of your retirement money out of these systems, none of them are working as intended. It's not working as it should. Okay, so with this, let me see. I'm going to attach a 2848. Let me see. Yes. So I attached a 2848 declaration of representative for this taxpayer. Address, social security number, phone. I think you guys, it's pretty basic. No funny stuff, non-domestic, without the United States. None of that funny stuff, okay? The representative you're going to appoint, your private bank, okay? Check if to be sent copies of notices and communications into your phone number, okay? Description of the matter, I just copy everything. Employment, payroll, excise, estate, gift, whistleblower, all of that. Okay, I want my representative to be a whistleblower. It can do all of that. All right, tax form numbers. The tax forms I filed the most: 1040s, 1041s. I filed 1096s, 1099s, form 56s. Okay, years or periods if applicable. You can go back to your birth year if you want to say, not your birth year, but from the year you turned. I would say the year you turned 21. If you want your representative to go back further than 2023, you can do that, but to just keep it simple, okay? Because when I say that, some individuals, um, they don't, it doesn't resonate. Like, they don't understand, like, why would I go back? Why would I go back that far? Well, because that entity has been operating for that long. There are multiple accounts with credits in them under these decedent identities, like the one on your driver's license. Look at it. Those entities are the ones holding the assets. It takes it from the Social Security. The Social Security gets it from the birth certificate, transfers from the birth certificates to the Social Security, like a checking and a savings account, okay? And then these instruments, okay, with the Social Security number on them are monetized, okay? So I just put 2023, all right? Um, Other acts authorized, I'll have to think about this. If it's something that, and I don't know until I run into an issue, okay, with with using the 2848. I have not had an issue yet where the IRS has said, well, your entity is not authorized to do these acts, okay? So if the IRS says that to you, and they say, well, we got your 2848 and your documents look good that you sent over to us, however, your 2848 is sort of limited, okay? Your entity cannot do these things. Then you will want to update your 2848 and other acts authorized, okay? And then you want to list those acts. As of right now, I can't think of anything that I would list here. But if something comes up or you need a particular power for your entity to be able to exercise, you're going to update your 2848. Okay. Print name of taxpayer from line 1. If other than an individual, yeah, print it. I should have printed it. I don't know what I'm thinking, y'all. Doe Jane Mary. Okay. Print name of taxpayer. Signature, title. Remember I told y'all I'm a receiver. Receiver. Okay, signature. I think print name. I think. All right, and then sign above this entity. Well, that's wrong. All right, and then you're gonna pen with a pen, sign your signature above this entity. Okay, and put today's date down here. I selected D, a bona fide officer of the taxpayer organization. Licensing jurisdiction, I put the SSA for Social Security Administration. Bar, license, certification, registration, or enrollment number. Enrollment number is Social Security number. Signature, I signed and dated. Okay, I signed and dated. Attach this 2848 with your 911 and send this over to the IRS and tell them to help you with that frivolous filing. Tell them to help you adjust the account. That's what you're wanting. You're wanting adjustment. Okay? Ask, can you do a 1041V for a negative $5,000? Ask them these questions so that you know, like if I get another frivolous filing, I can just attach a 1041 voucher to the frivolous filing letter and send it back to the IRS, telling the IRS to release those credits to the entity specified on the 1041 voucher. I don't think any other form or document is necessary, but I've never received a frivolous filing. Okay? I've never received a frivolous filing. So I'm basing this on my understanding so far in dealing with these agencies and these charges to these accounts, that we're not supposed to, because if they think about it, okay? If the IRS sends you a $5,000 frivolous filing, okay? That account is already holding $5,000. We're going to do some basic math. Okay, and you say, you know what, I don't want this hanging over me. I'm just gonna pay it. If you're one of those individuals that can afford it, I'm just gonna pay it. I don't want this over my head. The moment you pay $5,000 into that account, now that account is holding $10,000. That's not what you want. You understand? It's now holding $10,000. You do not want to add money to the account. You want to take it away, because this is how they become more and more tyrannical and corrupt in how they talk to us and how they treat and deal with us. When all the money your corporation has is because of us extending credit to you, allowing you to charge our Social Security accounts. Another question you can ask the IRS is, how is this frivolous filing a business expense? How is this related to any business? Like, justify, like, explain this for me. Because you didn't assess the frivolous filing against a business, you assessed it against me personally, against a personal entity. Even though it's not you, it's assessed against a personal, a name that's not Christina Wilson Private Bank ENT. You understand? Christina Wilson Bakery and Goods. That's how you know this is a business. That's another question you can ask the IRS. So what business, how is this related to business? Because the only thing frivolous at this point is the IRS. You can ask for a copy of the algorithm. You might not know what go find the IT. What does this algorithm, how is this account, what does this algorithm say of how this account should function? And if this algorithm saying some funny stuff, oh, you got a lawsuit on your hands. Why are y'all programming this programming my account to work against me? Are you doing this for your own profit? Is there a bug or a Trojan horse? Okay, with the systems? Okay, how soon can you fix it? Because it shouldn't be doing this. But you have to know what it should be doing. It should pay whatever, like for your accounts. You could put literally a letter of credit to your checking account and have credits in your account. But the bank, okay, because they want you to lend to them. That is their business model. Their business model is not a personal account. They want you lending to them. And if you try to do anything other than that, then they start to interfere. You have to say it, allege it. You have to say something. You should not be doing this, Navy Federal. They have a fiduciary obligation to their clients, true. But what happens when the clients don't understand how this is supposed to work? What happens when the clients don't know the difference between business and personal? What happens when the clients don't understand certain languages and you can scare them off easily? What happens when the clients don't know that the bank is the obligor? You don't have a choice in whether or not you process my instruments. You don't have a choice. A service agreement is unilateral, meaning you're the only person that can enforce it. You can choose not to. It's voluntary for you to follow this. So the bank will try to bring up all their policies. Those policies are nice, but they don't apply to me. I'm not putting instruments that was authorized by someone else. I'm not putting forth an instrument from I got from doing business, from tricking somebody into giving me a promissory note. And then now I'm over here trying to deposit it. I'm not doing any of those things. I'm simply handling my personal affairs. And I'm dealing with all this intervention from the bank because the bank wants you lending to them. That is it. So that they can lend you your own money back at interest. Who in there who would do this? So understand, in a lot of these processes, why the bank is saying what they're saying to you. Like for my individuals that are working on their utilities, trying to get the bank to accept this is just a credit transfer. All you need to do, bank, okay, is send a copy of this back to the utility company telling them to adjust the account for those amount of credits. That is what they're supposed to do. But if you don't know that, you don't know what you want them to do. You just heard this somewhere. So I really don't know what I want you to do with it. I know what I want you to do with it. What I want you to do is to take this, okay, put that, your utility bill was $500. You know that box that is empty. You put a negative $500 there. I want you to take a picture of this bank and send it back to the utility. Hurry up because I need to make the payment. You need to understand what a payment is. You think payment only means reaching in your pocket. That is wrong. No, it means more than that, and you have to look it up. Send a notice over to the utility company telling them to adjust my account for that amount So now if your utility bill was a positive $500, you assigned a negative $500, bringing the account to zero, and then the positive $500 got moved over to your account, your checking account, where you could use the credits. Or you can let it build. They don't want you to let it build like the charges. Okay? They don't want you, because those are now shares. You really are now holding shares, but you're not a shareholder, because the moment that the account is charged, they hurry up and make you pay, and then they say that a payment is negative. That a payment is an adjustment. That's what they're saying. So if I had a positive $500 in my utility account, and you send me a bill telling me that, oh, this is how much you owe me, and I reached in my pocket and I paid $500, that account is now holding $1,000, but the utility company telling you that the account balance is zero. You have to know how to say it, how to call it out. But you won't know if you can't define the words. If you don't even know what the words mean. And some of y'all are wearing me out. I'm sorry. Y'all are wearing me out with this whole, I purchased your ebook and I followed. Yes, and it's accurate information. You do not get to then, I purchased the ebook, so I think you should give me 30 minutes of your time. I think you should talk to me, answer all questions I might have related. No. The transaction is complete. You can't now feel like now I can extend this purchase to other services or get more of your time. I've explained it as best as I can. The information is right. Okay? But I can't give you confidence. I can't make you feel confident. Okay? All right, so this video is getting up to 50 minutes. I didn't want to go that long, but I needed to talk to y'all a little bit, rant a little bit, bring you guys into the fold about different transactions. Okay, your utility accounts, your taxpayer, all of these accounts are exactly the same. And I promise, once you understand that these accounts all function similar to each other, it's easy to manage. It's easy to manage. Okay, so if you got a frivolous filing request for Taxpayer Advocate Service assistance, you want assistance in adjusting the account, make them do it. You understand the code. You understand this language. I don't. But you understand what I'm saying to you, and what I'm telling you is I want you to adjust this account for a negative $5,000. The person that reached out to me that did some crazy stuff with their borrow from yourself, and I don't necessarily think it's crazy, because he don't know he got 52 million sitting in his account. He don't know how to get it out. Okay? But if you try to get it out my way, and then IRS is like, oh, well, this is not the correct way. Okay, well, if you could tell me if something is wrong, then you could tell me how to fix it. You don't let them tell you that something is wrong, and then you just run away with your tail tucked. Okay, well, let me go and email Christina for it. No, you need to talk to the person that told you no. The person that told you no, obviously you got the power to give me a yes then. If you could stand here and tell me no. Obviously you know something that I don't know. So if this is not right, you have an obligation now to show me the correct way, or shut your ass up when it comes to my personal account. Be quiet when it comes to my personal account. Okay? Because you could give me some advice that causes me to do something that's not in my best interest. You don't have to be nasty with them, but you need to get stern, and some of y'all need to work on raising your IQ. That is something, nothing, no service or product here is going to fix that. You work on raising your IQ, getting smarter, okay? Comebacks. All right? Okay, yeah, we don't accept those. Why not? We don't accept those coupons. Why not? What's the reason? It's non-negotiable. I'm not buying a boat. I'm transferring credits. So you're telling me that you can't help me move credits between my accounts? Are you sure? If you could tell me no, then tell me what I need to do in order to get this coupon deposited into my account. I know some people are saying, oh, you want to set up a trust. You can go about it that way, but the trust already exists. The trust already exists. Right now, you got the Social Security number. Okay, so if I can't use this Social Security to benefit me, then that means it's only benefiting the bank. That the bank is using your Social Security number for their benefit because they're getting benefit. They're getting loans. Everything that come in is a loan. So the Social Security, this is not the intent of the Social Security program. It wasn't for your benefit. It was for mine. And that's why you go to the Social Security Administration. All your instruments, promissory notes, I don't care what they are. Credit applications, even better. This account did not give me the services that it promised, which was retirement and savings. I got neither. I got swindled. And I need reimbursement. That's the only way to sick these inspector generals and these postmaster generals. I've tried every other way. When I started doing, okay, yeah, no, post office, I got a claim. And every time I send my instrument, like for a utility bill, each time that I send an instrument to the utility company for them to process, or if I send an instrument to the bank from my utilities, okay, telling them to adjust these accounts and move the credits from those accounts to my checking account, and they don't do it, it wasn't delivered. Oh, I know the website says that it was delivered, but my money ain't there, so there's a discrepancy. It's a discrepancy between what the post office is saying and what the bank is saying. Because my account not showing no money. And until it shows some money, this shit was not delivered. It was not delivered. And the post office owed me money. You gave me a guarantee. This is how you sick the postmaster general, because at some point, he's going to get tired of having to dig into their fund because it's all commingled. He's going to get tired of having to dig into his funds, quote unquote, which don't shit belong to these corporations, but they're going to get tired of having to pay out these claims for non-delivery. And so guess what the inspector general at the SSA go do? Because you know every time, okay, I went and bought a car. I ain't got no car, and they got my Social Security number and promissory note. That car was go help me toward my retirement and savings, and I don't have a car. Okay, I'm owed my money back. I want all of it in this amount, a negative value. Here go the instrument. Give the inspector general that counterfeit instrument. Give it to him. And let him know I got nothing out of this. And I want my money. I want reimbursement. And now the Social Security, yeah, that inspector general, that's what you want them to do. You want them to go smack around the dealership. You want them to go smack around the real estate agent. You want them to go smack around. That's what I want you to do. But in order to do that, you need to start taking money from them. Otherwise, you just a baby who pacifier fell out their mouth and you just crying, waiting on somebody to pick it up and stick it back in. I can guarantee it. I want to show y'all some of my payouts, but like y'all, I'm scared putting my information in the public. That's why I changed. You know what? I'm gonna take my name. I'm gonna just do Jane Doe. Sending my information, my all my information is just getting leaked. I got people like, oh, your mother's name, oh, your mother named Katrina Wilson, like yours, huh? I looked you up and found your family. Y'all from Mississippi. So I'm concerned about putting my private anything with my name on it. Like I was in the beginning, I was showing y'all letters I was getting back from the mortgage company, letters I was getting from the IRS telling me I'm in receivership, pictures of my credit report getting the mortgage company off of my credit file, pictures of my title showing you, listen, you can listen to me call the car company, the auto finance company, and you hear them tell, oh yeah, we still got a lien. No, you don't. To give you guys confidence that, do I know everything? No, I don't. I don't know everything. But I know enough to handle myself. I know you ain't finna take no house from me. I know that. I know you not about to run off with, I know. Now that I know what I know, okay? Okay, the Dropbox, okay? Y'all, I am getting nothing but negative reviews. That's it. I get negative reviews. That's all day, negative reviews. Okay. And you know what? I decided to let people leave their negative reviews. Okay. The only thing I can do at this point is to try to automate as much as I can. I cannot be everywhere at once. Okay. I can't. I am automating so that when you guys need a template, you need a document, you need, I'm working on a chat bot that answers specific questions based on the questions y'all email me. Okay, so I'm working on a virtual assistant. So when you have questions about certain things, my virtual assistant will answer it. And if it can't answer it, then I'll directly receive messages. I have to set all these things up. So I do apologize about the outages. Okay, but I am in the process of trying to automate as best as possible. I got people in the EIN service programs. They're complaining that, hey, I have not heard back. I haven't heard this. I haven't heard that. So I'm getting on my admin's backs. What the hell going on? Okay. And so when this starts to happen, now I have to take over parts of, of the business that I relinquished either to my admins, like, okay, y'all got it now, you're good, you're going to take care of it. And then when I see all these reviews, it's like, okay, you can't handle it. Now I have to take back over, okay? But I can't do all these things. It's impossible. So I have to automate. If you are subscribed to the Dropbox, we have literally, if you pay through Gumroad, what I have done, I have taken every email address and we have manually given access to the email address that you used when you signed up. But what is happening is that individuals are using a different email address from the email address that they signed up or subscribed with. So when you go to Dropbox and then you enter a different email than the email address that you use to purchase the service, the system does not recognize you as a subscriber. It is sending me requests as if you're trying to be a part of my team. And I have to reject it because now you'll be able to see all types of sensitive information if I accept it. So I can't accept it. The system is sending you to the wrong location because you're using a different email address. Do not do that. Use the same email address that you use to purchase, that you use to access the Dropbox. If you still can't get access, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm sorry. I have exhausted just about everything that we could do. There are no errors being reported in the system. I got this IT and this was around Christmas, okay, where this man couldn't even rest during Christmas because I'm constantly like, listen, this problem is not fixed. So we're going to have to work through Christmas until these people can get access to the Dropbox, okay? So we did it manually. I don't know what the issue is. You have the option to cancel your subscription. I am sorry, for whatever reason, the system is not working out, not granting you access. But unfortunately, I've run my course in what I can do. I don't know what the problem is. Sorry, I do apologize to you. So that's all I got. I wanted to do, I just wanted to rant with you guys for a little bit. And talk to you about just different issues, but specifically the request for Taxpayer Advocate Service assistance. Use this for your frivolous filings, okay? Get the advocates to help, okay? You don't need to answer any questions regarding, okay, we see that you put $2 million on this line. That's correct. Okay, well, it's causing, like, do you have some document? No, I do not. It's internal. It's private. These IRS forms are called information. I gave the information to process the returns. I'm just bartering and exchanging my own credits and assets. I don't see what the issue is. I don't understand. When you're talking to one of the, you can say that, listen, I don't understand. Can you help me or not? We know that they go in and they make changes to tax returns. That's a problem. That's a problem. You don't see that as a problem? That you can make changes, that you at will? Okay, so this taxpayer entity, I don't have control over. You do. You understand what a corporation is, a entity separate from its owner? But you can't assume that you're the owner of that. If the IRS is talking to you like that, they might be the owner. So you ask the question, okay, well, who is the owner of this taxpayer? Because I believe there is some confusion. Who owns the taxpayer? If I own it, I told it to go ahead and process a return to me for $2 million. I don't understand why I'm talking to you, IRS. Why am I talking to you? All right. We'll talk, guys. Bye.